everybody, welcome to Down Home Backyard Gardening. This video is going to be one of those videos where I'm just showing y'all what I'm doing in the garden. I will go over some of the stuff that I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and like with the tomatillos, I gotta yank those out. I'll go over all that with you, but one thing I've learned about gardening is it never stops. You're always doing something. And even though it's spring, almost the beginning of summer, there's crops I gotta get out so I can plant new ones. So this video is going to be that. Just hey, come along and see what I'm up to. So, as always, let's grow. First thing we're going to do is get rid of the tomatillos, and let me show you why. You look here, the tomatillo plants just look absolutely awful. But if you really, and I'm not sure if I can get it, let's see here. And if you can see, there's little webs in between everything. I've been nailed with spider mites on all of my tomatillo plants. And if you all remember, this is the volunteer plant that I was so proud of because it was doing so good. But that thing, within a week, is gone. So we had like 4 to 5 days of just rain. And it took no time for these plants to go. It really upsets me about it. I'm really bummed out about it, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna get these out because every time I plant tomatillos, and that was one reason I wasn't going to plant tomatillos this year, is I always get nailed with these little spider mites. So these have got to come out right now. And what I'm gonna do is, normally I would cut it at the base, but I wanna get rid of all the tomatillos. So I'm just gonna pull the plants out and get rid of them. Okay, so all the tomatillos are out. One thing that kind of stinks about having to take those plants out is they were tall plants, and these melons were starting to trellis up those plants. So I'm gonna put the cages back in and try to get these melons to trellis back up these cages. But the tomatillos are out, that frees up space here, and I will plant something new in this space. I'm not sure what yet though, but we'll figure it out. Now, I'm excited for this next part, and I cannot believe how much these things have grown. Okay, so check out these Chinese red long beans. Look at how long these things are. I mean, look at that one. Seriously, look at how big these there are. These beans grow so fast and so much. Okay, so these beans are really good in stir fries, and what you want to do is you want to harvest them when they're about like this, right here. Not when they're this big. And definitely, definitely not that long. But right here is when you want to harvest them, or even a little smaller like this. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to harvest all the beans off these vines. All right, everybody, and just like that, we're done. Look at these. Some of these are over 2 feet long. Really good. Now, the really big ones, I saved these seeds to replant. And last year, I actually took seeds out of these right off the bat and stuck them right in the ground. They started growing again. So that is done. And within no time, there'll be just as many up there as there are right now. These grow so fast. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is harvest these onions. Now, it's been a long time since I've harvested onions. Usually I just plant them and leave them as a companion plant. But this year I actually want to harvest these onions and reutilize that bed. So, here we go. Okay, so as you can see, these things are really growing tall. And I believe they are ready to harvest. So, let's give it a shot. So we're just going to reach down in here and pull one out. Now you want to be real gentle when you're pulling them up. There we go, look at that. They are ready to come out. I am very happy with that. So, here we go. Okay, so when you're pulling them up, and I'm not going to take them all out, I'm just going to take out the big ones. You just want to reach in and just slowly pull them up. They don't have a huge root system, so they come up really, really easy. Unlike the garlic, where you have to dig around the bulb and then pull up, these onions are a lot easier. Okay, and there we go. We are done. Now look at all the onions that I just pulled out of there that are ready to go right now. Look at all those. Totally awesome. And I still left some that are smaller that I can harvest here in a couple weeks. I have another set of onions ready to rock and roll. Love it. Now, we're gonna go right over here and check these garlic because I think they're done also. Now, these will be smaller garlics than those elephant garlics, but let's give it a shot. Okay, so the way to tell on garlic, or if the bottom 3 leaves have started to die off, the garlic is usually ready. These have died off, so I'm gonna test one right here. We're gonna test it on one and just see. And that is not what you wanted to do. These are not ready. This garlic is now dead. So yeah, these were not ready. So I'm gonna leave the rest of these in here. And if nothing else, I showed you all what not to do. You never pull like that, but I did. And look at the roots. The roots of garlic are very, very strong, and you can see they go deep. That's why I had a hard time pulling this out. But the garlic smell is there, but they are not ready to harvest. So, lesson learned. We'll move on. Okay, so one thing I noticed yesterday or the day before when I was in the garden is the Brussels sprout plant does not look as good as it did about a month ago. At all. How bad that thing looks. It has just been tore up by something. So it's time for it to come out. Now, one thing to remember, brassicas like the cold weather. You know, it's in the 80s and 90s here now, so this thing is definitely done. I'm gonna go ahead and yank it out, and that'll free up all that space right back behind these tomatoes. Okay, so for everyone who's never grown Brussels sprouts, and this was honestly my first year, the Brussels sprouts actually grow on the stem. These little things. And if they had just gotten a little bigger, I could have harvested them. But is what it is. Now, if you have chickens or anything, you could totally give them this entire plant, let them do their thing. But this is gonna go to the compost for me. That's one less plant that I gotta worry about, bringing in pests and all that, so that's good. Now let's move on to another harvest that I was not expecting. Okay, so we've got another bin of potatoes here. Now these are a blue potato. I'm excited to see just what is coming out of this bucket, because these 2 buckets, I harvested those potatoes a couple weeks ago and got quite a few. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so that's super disappointing. Basically, I only got 4 potatoes out of 4 plants. So I will not be growing these again. These were a blue Ed Irondack potatoes that I got from Lowe's or Home Depot. So yeah, that was a one and done for me. Okay, so I'm really disappointed in those potatoes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually a little upset. Kind of wasted all that time for really nothing. So I mean, that's gardening, right? Not everything can be a massive harvest, but I mean, 4, really? Yeah, that's disappointed. Home Depot, maybe don't sell those anymore. Just saying. Okay, so for this final thing that we're gonna do today, this is something I've been thinking about for quite a while. I didn't really decide that I was going to do this until pretty much just now. But it's time to do something with this bed. So when I first built this bed, I built it to be blueberries. But as you can see, the sun cooks this bed in the summer. So I lost all my blueberries last year. But the peppers do really good in the heat. So I'm gonna turn this into a pepper bed, at least for now. Okay, so the peppers that I have here are Carolina Reaper, some Serranos, some just snack peppers that really have no place to be. So we're gonna stick them in this bed and hope they really take off. So I'm gonna do the rest of this video and fast forward, you're gonna see me putting in a dusting in each of these holes. What that is a mixture of bone meal and blood meal. I do that at the bottom of every single hole of every single seed that I sow in this garden. Blood meal and bone meal, because it works. All right, everybody, so we are done. I just planted 6 pepper plants, and as you can see, that bed now looks totally different. I think this will really help all those pepper plants really take off. And then I also want to show something else. Whenever you have a pot or a plastic pot for so long, the sun bakes it and just destroys the plastic. All I was doing was basically touching that thing, and it was breaking in my hand. So those serranos had to get out of that bucket, for sure. All right, everybody, so that's the video. One thing that I forgot to do that I need to do is to water in all those peppers, which I will do. But that's the video. Hope everyone enjoyed this video. Again, this wasn't like, hey, this is how you do something. This was not a how-to video. This is just showing the behind the scenes and the sweaty, dirty grunt work that you have to do when you garden. It never stops. Never stops. So everyone, if y'all enjoyed this video, do me a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I would love to have you all on this journey with all of us. And until next time, everyone, take care, God bless, continue to shine bright and harvest hard. And I'll talk to y'all again real soon. Bye. The next thing I want to do is harvest. Not sure why that's on.